I'm here at Chubbs property one more time, a home grow visit on our Fast Buds channel. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell, and don't forget to comment. It really helps with the algorithm. We gotta go now and check out Chubbs garden.
This video is strictly for documentary, educational, and scientific purposes only.
It's 4:20 somewhere and we're in the dark, Chubbs, no?
Yeah, we're in the dark. Power went out last night. Unfortunately, we got some high winds, so nothing we can do about it, but just deal with it. And good thing we got autos in there so they're not too finicky when it comes to the light. Keep our fingers crossed it comes on sooner than later.
It's okay, like no internet really, no nothing, just like, you know, we'll take it easy. We'll show you around the property before it gets dark, you know, for sure today. We'll show you a little bit. And yeah, the ladies, they've been in the dark for some hours. They're like, hey, they're looking healthy though. Let's go have a quick look. They're just waiting for light. They're just like, come on, man, give us light.
So we take this break as an unforeseen time out for a minute. We're gonna hang out for a little while and show you his ladies later on.
Hallelujah, the lights are back on. Oh, it's nice and warm and beautiful. Everybody looks happy, man.
Yeah, definitely.
You happy, no?
I'm happy, yes. Thank God the power came back on, I'll be honest. This is the upcoming run. We got some testers here for this year. Then we got some other ones that I'm actually rerunning. I really liked the way they came out, so I wanted to run them again. I just defoliated last week.
We're gonna see what else we can show you. So stay tuned and comment below where I should go next, who I should visit next.
So you got two controller 69s?
No, I have the old school ones. Not even controller 69s. I have the controller 69 right there and the new controller and all that, but I have the old setup and I don't like it all on one system. I want it on separate. So this is my exhaust, this is my intake. So that way if anything ever happens, it doesn't all go down. So at least one will, you know, keep up as far as hopefully pushing it out. As far as like, if it does go bad, my exhaust, I have a dampener on it. So once I get to a positive pressure to a certain point, it'll open that damper and push it out anyways. So it's kind of contingency, you know, just in case something happens. See what we got. Welcome to Chubbs garden. Cherry colas, guava, and apple strudel. But like I said, I'm not getting the height and the growth that I wanted because, like I was telling you, I had my chains on here onto the pole and it kept the lights about this far off the top of the tent, which was nice for not banging my head on it, but I didn't get the growth I normally get out of some of the strains that I actually reran. So I was like, all right, you know what, lesson learned. So I dropped them down and we'll see if they haven't even really hit that pre-flower stretch yet. So I think once they start doing that, some of these have, but we'll see how it goes. That's what it's about, always learning, trying to improve what you can.
100%.
That was the lesson I learned. Don't leave your lights hanging up all the way at the top. I just figured I'd show you real quick. I water at night when the lights come on, so that way they sit all night in the water. So I already knew
When do you have the lights off?
they turn off at 9:30, come back on at 3:30. I let my lights run all night.
Yeah, makes sense. Me too.
Especially being in California, we have high electricity costs, so during peak hours, it's easier to keep your lights off during those times and run them later, you know, so just depends. Right now we don't have that. Summertime, I switch it up. I'll actually have them come on about like 6:37 and then shut off at about 1 o'clock. So those peak hours during the day of high energy costs.
So, Chubbs, it's the day before my return back to Europe. We finally got electricity and it's time to get ladies some water.
We're gonna water the girls. Yeah, here's my setup. I just use 55-gallon tote. I actually cut it off a little bit. I use an air pump and just kind of mix it in. So what I'll do is I'll add my newts, turn on my air pump, mix it in, get my pH right, add my pH down and get it to anywhere from 6 point to 6.3, 6.5. That's kind of my sweet spot. Sometimes I'll just use CalMag and just well water, and sometimes I'll do my feed depending on what the plants are showing, you know. I don't always just feed every time. I let the plants kind of talk to me and let me know, all right, hey, you know what, we need a little boost, and you'll see it, you know what I mean?
We got to show you something.
Got a little bit of fresh frozen here. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to run it right now. This is some pound cake. Looks like I've actually washed it before, so it is a somewhat good producer. Just smells really good. But definitely decent, you know, covered in trichomes. I mean,
Definitely a good whiff I'm getting here from right away. I like to see that. I like that.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Makes a great bubble hash. Makes good temple balls, that's for sure. That's what I turned the last one into. So I'm looking forward to rewashing this and seeing what it'll do. Definitely. Make sure you keep it cold.
So Aldo, you say you're pumping off from the well, no?
Yeah, my water's already in my tank. Because my water, like right now, it will be so cold coming out of my well. I don't want to give my plants, 45-degree water.
Yeah.
So I'll usually fill it up in the morning and just give it the day to kind of warm itself all the way up. And then you got my pH, TDS, and all that stuff right there. I give them 100 mLs of this. That's Grow A from Athena. Same thing, Grow B, 100. I have about 20 gallons right here, so it's 5 mLs per gallon. I'll let that mix up for about 20 minutes. Then I come out and water. I keep it pretty simple, just a Grow A, Grow B, and a CalMag. Nothing fancy about it, I'm about to switch to Bloom pretty much this week, so this will probably be one of the last times I use the Grow. Right now, it'll be at about a pH of about a 7.5 with everything in there. I'll put 2 caps of pH down, 2.5 caps, and it'll bring me down to about a 6.3, 6.5, and that's where I normally water at every time.
You wait for the pH down until it's mixed, and then you'll do it at the end, or do?
I'll mix it right now, and then I'll put the pH down in for about 5 minutes, and just it doesn't take long to circulate it all through. So where we're at 6.9. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add a little pH down. I figure with the amount I have, probably about 1 cap full. We should be down to, right around 6.5, 6.3, somewhere right around there. We're sitting at a 6.4. If I want to test my nutrients and see how strong my EC is, I'm pulling a 1.3 EC. If we want to check the ppms for those, let's see what we got here. We're running a 670 ppm. My reservoir water temperature, we're looking at about 50 degrees Fahrenheit, so a little colder than I'd like. Again, it's supposed to get down into the low 20s tonight, so I figured I'll do it now before it even gets colder. Any lower than that, I'd probably add warm water, but with the temp being 75 degrees, I think they'll be fine. pH, let's see, keep it going down. I like 6.2 to 6.4, so right around 6.3 I'd say is the sweet spot, but anywhere in between 6 and 6.5, I'm happy with. I'm not going to adjust it just to get that 6.3. Like right now we're sitting at a 6.1. I'd be perfectly content. I'll feed the plants just fine. So let's take a look. This is the first night that I've had electricity. It's been off for 30 hours. So it'll be interesting to see how they've been and how they're responding. I'm sure a couple of them are going to be really mad at me, and a couple of them you'll see never skipped a beat.
I'm gonna have a look.
All right, hello ladies. So I hand water everything. I use a basic measuring cup. It has 500 mLs or 16 ounces. At this stage, they'll get anywhere from 1 to 2 of these. Right now, because the lights have been off for 30 hours, I'm gonna just give them 1, just to kind of give them a good drink and see how they respond, and I'll check back in the morning time.
Do you adjust per plant?
I don't typically, unless it's showing signs, like that one in the back corner that's very mad. I'd lift the pot and I'd make sure, because I've grown with the same soil long enough, I know what the pot feels like empty. And if I pick it up and it's nice and heavy, naturally I won't water it, and you won't get water for the day. But it's interesting how some plants will intake so much more than others.
Oh, yeah.
And others will drink a quarter of what you just gave it, and then you come back the next day and you're like, wait a minute, I know I watered you the same amount as the one next to you, and this one's super light. So it's always interesting, and definitely, I'd recommend lifting the pots every so often, just kind of double check.
That auto pot system had made my life a lot easier. I still have to see how wet things get, because sometimes it gets, you would be surprised of how much water those plants suddenly consume and how big they get if they get this much more water. But I understand you don't normally do that. I don't even know how that autopod system works with it. I really don't know.
I'm not 100% sure. I'd probably have to put an air stone in and just keep my newts aerated, the whole time. But again, it's definitely something I think I'm going to try out in the future.
They say, for example, for the tank, for the Autoflower pot tank, they say not to put an air stone because it can mess your pH up if you have it running too long. You know what I mean? So they say to put just like a general pump in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like just like the pump which makes it come around.
You know, it doesn't look like there's very much room in here, but it gives me enough space. I've done this grow this is, I think, my 4th run in this tent, and it gives me enough room to where I'm maximizing my space, but not overpacking it to where you're stepping on your stuff, and it gets a little tight come, you know, full flower, but it's still manageable. Like this one, you can tell she's a little upset, you know, the leaves are drooping. I mean, generally I like them to be nice and praying, so it's interesting to see, you know, we'll give them 500 mLs or like I said, 16 ounces, and you'll come back in an hour and it'll act like it never even happened. But again, because of the power situation, I didn't necessarily want to water them right away because the power went out a few hours after I watered them last, so I didn't know how much they actually intake the last time.
Those ones here, they're like quite big. The loose strains are all growing pretty tall. And like I know that I stunted my number 1 and my number 2.
Yeah, these are all this year's testers, you know. The 2 up in the front are number 1s. Along with this one over here, I just kind of move it over the way so I can make a pathway. But then you got number 2, number 3. It looks like number 3, we're getting a purple pheno out of one of them, you know, which is always cool to see the difference in phenos. Yeah, I'm definitely excited. I enjoy running the testers. I've ran testers for years now, you know. For those that don't know, you know, I have grown every fast bud strain that's been released and unreleased. So it's enjoyable to run them every year because it kind of, I tell people it makes me feel like Sherlock Holmes because you're trying to know what you already know and then trying to figure out kind of what it is, the terpenes, the structure, you know, whether, you know, you got nice fat leaves, you know, or you got the nice skinny leaves where you're gonna know, all right, hey, it's probably gonna be a more sativa dominant, you know, or if, say, the plant's real nice and tight, you'll definitely be able to know it's a more indica dominant, you know, so it's interesting.
And then you never know with the effects. The effects really like the structure because you can have sativa looking plants which give you an absolute couch lock.
100%, and I'm one to couch lock my sativas a little more. I like that kind of in your face when you have that effect, but it's more personal preference. But I think all in all, couldn't ask for more. I mean, they're doing really well, especially considering the circumstances. I mean, I came in this morning and it was 50 degrees in my tent, so a little colder than I'd like at this time, but
with a high CO2.
yeah, with the high CO2, you know? So I mean, all in all, it's amazing how resilient, you know, the genetics really are. It just goes to show. And again, you know, I enjoyed running multiples of each strain just to see the difference in it, you know, but I did, you know, I recommend to anybody and everybody that grows autos is always test the limits, test your limits, you know, always experiment on different techniques because that's how you're gonna find out what actually works for you and the plant and become the best grower you can possibly be. And I think at the end of the day, that's pretty much what we're all about is whether it be medical, whether it be personal, whether it be, you know, recreational, any which way that you're gonna consume it or how you're gonna enjoy it, you all wanna grow fire. And I think challenging ourselves and really not trying to become stagnant and just letting the plant grow makes you a better grower in the end of the day. So again, nothing too fancy. Again, you know, I've already aerated my water, I've already mixed it, pH'd it, so now I just fill my bucket up and I pretty much know right now it's gonna take probably close to 15 gallons for all those plants for per watering. I water every day. It gives me that time, not only relax from the stresses of the day, but kind of get interactive with your plant, you know, so that way you can kind of get up close and personal, really see if you're having issues, deficiencies, or if it really needs that much more water. Because just like children, some need a little bit of extra care, you know, and in my opinion, doing the hand watering as much as I like the auto pots or the automated watering systems, I feel it takes away, for me it would, that interaction with the plant. It's amazing how fast when they start pre-flowering, you'll start seeing these flower sites on them, you know? It's just so interesting. It's fun to see the different strains. I think I have total 15 different strains in here right now, and it's always enjoyable when it comes flower time. You're able to see the difference in cola size, difference in colors, smells, structure. I mean, there's so many things that I look at, you know, and it's always fun to see the differences in it, you know?
Oh yeah, and that's the fun part about growing all different stuff. And not just having this full with one clone kind of strain, you know? That's like at least for me.
They're definitely all growing really nice, you know? Now we'll get our last little square here and we'll leave them be and let them do their thing.
So thanks for inviting me. Thanks for everything. Like, because I came to America and after my layover, I was in Vegas and the first person I saw was Chubbs picking me up from the airport. Even though I'm incredibly tired, I'm having an incredibly good time. Yeah, we're on the way up to Chubbs' house. I'm excited, man. And yeah, it was an adventure. It was fun. It was amazing.
100%, you know, and that's what it's always so fun about when the community comes together like that. It's sharing the stories, the passion that everybody has for this amazing plant, you know, and memories like this that we're making, you know. I mean, never in my wildest dreams would I think Sebastian was looking in my grow tent, you know, and doing a home visit. So I appreciate it, even smoking, you know, dabbing some of the stuff that we even pressed tonight. So that's it. Memories that'll last a lifetime, brother. 100%.
100%.
For me, it's a family reunion because as much as I'd like to go see my family, even in person, you know, you don't get the time, you know, busy schedules, it just doesn't work out. So to be able to have everybody in one place, share stories, share the passion, like you said, it just kind of organically comes together and it's a great vibe and 100% we all do it because of this amazing plant and amazing genetics. Couldn't ask for more. And definitely stay tuned, you know, there's always contests, everything going on.
And always remember,
It's 420 somewhere. That's the orange sherbet, fast flowering, sun grown, for 2 years, and that terpene profile is.
so yeah, you have it really nice here. I can't wait to come one time. I would like to come when it's warmer a little bit.
But I really enjoy it and I really appreciate you coming out. It's like family, you know? So 100%, brother. I appreciate it.
Obviously, I didn't want to be here during a power outage, but us not being able to record or do anything for one whole day on my trip here to the United States was amazing. It's one of my last days here and Chubbs is a good friend, so I am so happy and grateful for the time I got to spend with him yesterday and of course also today while we recorded all of this. Stay tuned for more home visits. I'm sure I'll come back here one day soon. Please write in the comment if I should visit you and where you are. Please like, subscribe and so on and always remember, it's 420 somewhere.
Fast Buds.
Now, we gotta head up the mountain. Going up the mountain, baby, I'm gonna go.
All the way up.
All the